I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I've been with Emily for about 5 years. We were pretty solid, or so I thought. She's the kind of girl who always knew how to make herself look perfect. Long blonde hair, killer body, sharp tongue, the whole 9 yards. She can be a bitch sometimes, no doubt, but I never minded because she was fun and confident, and honestly, I thought she loved me. We had this wedding planned out for months. It was supposed to be a big deal, family, friends, the works. I was excited, even a little nervous. The week before the wedding, everything seemed perfect. Emily was acting a little distant, but I figured it was just wedding nerves. She was busy managing the details, constantly on her phone, texting who knows who. But she always smiled, and I was stupid enough to think that was just her being stressed. The day before the wedding, I caught her sneaking around in the hotel room, whispering on the phone. When I asked what was going on, she just brushed it off with her usual snarky attitude, saying she was talking to her best friend about the wedding. I didn't push. Honestly, I was too caught up in making sure everything was perfect for the next day, but I couldn't shake that feeling that something was off. Then came the night of the wedding. We checked into the hotel, just her and me, ready to get married the next day. I remember feeling nervous, excited, a little overwhelmed. Emily was all over me, acting like she was the happiest girl alive. After we checked in, she went to the bathroom, and I decided to do a quick check of my phone just to ease my nerves. That's when I saw a text from her best man, Mark. It was a generic message, nothing suspicious at first glance. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe. This wedding's gonna be epic." But then I noticed she had sent a picture of herself in the hotel mirror, wearing that tiny dress I'd bought her for the wedding. The thing was, I'd never seen that dress before, and it looked like it had been worn more than once. My stomach dropped. I felt my chest tighten, and I kept scrolling, trying to act casual. But my hands were trembling. That's when I saw the next message. It was from Mark again, but this time it was a little more suggestive. Something about how she looked so hot and maybe they could catch up after the wedding. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My wife was cheating on me with my best man, the guy I trusted the most. Right there in the hotel where we were supposed to say "I do," she was banging my best man. I felt like I was gonna throw up. My mind raced, trying to process how I missed all these signs, how she was lying to my face, texting Mark about sex, and how great she looked while I was planning our future. I felt sick, angry, betrayed all at once. I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't let her get away with this. Not after everything we'd been through, not after she'd lied to me like that. My whole world was crashing down, and I hadn't even said "I do" yet. I sat there for a minute, staring at the screen, the weight of what I'd just read sinking in. My mind was racing. I kept replaying everything, her mood, the way she was acting all week, the little snide comments she made when I tried to talk to her. It was all a lie, all of it. She'd been cheating on me with Mark, our best man, the guy I trusted to stand by my side at the wedding. That realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I didn't know whether to feel sick, furious, or just numb. I knew I had to confront her. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't ignore what I'd found. I waited until she came out of the bathroom, her hair still damp, makeup slightly smudged from nerves. She looked at me with that same bitchy smirk, the one I'd come to recognize as her "I'm better than you" look. I clenched my fists and took a deep breath. "Emily," I said, my voice trembling, "I need to talk to you, now." She rolled her eyes, scoffing. "What's your problem? Can't a girl get ready for her wedding without some drama?" "Cut the crap," I shot back. "I saw the texts, the pictures. You're cheating on me with Mark during our wedding week." Her eyes widened for a split second, then she quickly recovered, scoffing again. "Oh, come on, Mike, you're overreacting. It's just sex. We're adults, right? People do stupid stuff. You're making a big deal out of nothing." That was her go-to excuse: nothing, just sex. It doesn't mean anything. But I knew better. I saw the way she looked at Mark in those texts, that flirty, desperate tone she used. She was lying. She'd always been good at lying. Her whole attitude was dismissive, like I was supposed to accept her bullshit because she was bitchy and she always got her way. I told her I knew about the affair, that I'd seen enough to put the pieces together. Her reply: a sneer, a shrug, and then she said, "Look, Mike, I don't know what you think you saw, but you're being paranoid. Mark and I were just friends. We've been talking maybe, but that's it. You're making it into a bigger deal than it is. Honestly, you're just insecure. Insecure. That word hit me hard, like she was trying to turn everything around on me, make me feel guilty. For catching her, I couldn't believe how calmly she was lying, how dismissive she was being. She was so confident, so bitchy, like she hadn't just been caught cheating. She even had the nerve to call me insecure, like I was the problem. I felt this pure burning rage building inside me. I wanted to shake her, scream at her, tell her how much she'd ruined everything. But I also felt this deep sadness, like the betrayal cut so deep I might never recover. How long had she been lying? Were there other guys? How many nights had she been sneaking around behind my back? The questions kept piling up, and I was starting to feel like I was drowning in my own mind. I told her I was done talking, that I needed time to think. She kept pushing, acting all entitled like she was the victim. But I knew that was a lie. She was the one who betrayed me, my wife. The woman I thought I knew was sleeping with my best man during our wedding week. The thought made me sick. There was no way I could stay with her after this. No way I could look her in the eye without feeling like I'd throw up. And Mark, don't even get me started on him. I left the hotel room that night feeling like I'd been punched in the stomach. I checked out early the next morning, canceled the wedding, and just drove away. I didn't tell anyone, no family, no friends, just me. I've been trying to process what happened ever since, trying to understand how someone I loved could do this to me. The betrayal burned so deep I can still feel it in my chest. Every time I think about her bitchy smirk, Mark's stupid face, and the way I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach all over again. After I left that hotel, I felt like I was walking around in a fog. Everything was a blur. My head, my stomach, my chest, everything hurt. I kept replaying that moment when I found the texts, the pictures. It was like a sick movie I couldn't turn off. The worst part was knowing I had almost married her, that she was ready to say, "I do," with all that betrayal inside her. I couldn't go back, not ever. Not after seeing her. So bitchy, so dismissive, like her cheating was just a minor inconvenience. I spent the next few days trying to piece it all together. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that smug look she gave me when I confronted her, the way she lied so easily. I was furious, but there was also this deep sadness. I'd wasted so much time on her. I thought she was everything I ever wanted, beautiful, confident, sharp-tongued. But now I saw she was just manipulative and selfish. She didn't love me, not really. She loved herself and apparently Mark too. I started to notice more things that confirmed my suspicions. The way she avoided certain questions, the way she'd get defensive if I mentioned Mark. I found little things, her phone constantly buzzing, her changing her passwords, her brushing off my concerns like they were nothing. It was clear she was hiding something. I just didn't want to believe she could be so cold, so bitchy and dishonest right up to the end. One night I decided I had to see her again. I needed to hear her version to see if she'd still lie her way out of it. So I called her. She answered with that same snarky tone, acting like nothing was wrong. I told her I knew the truth. I wanted her to admit it, to tell me she'd been with Mark, to say it out loud so I could finally hear it from her own mouth. Her reply: "Oh, come on, Mike, you're being dramatic. I told you Mark and I are just friends. We're not sleeping together, I swear. You're imagining things, you're insecure." That's when I realized her lies were so ingrained, so automatic, she convinced herself it was true. She was so used to lying, she believed her own bullshit. That made me even angrier. I told her I didn't believe her, that I knew she'd been banging Mark behind my back, that she'd betrayed me at the worst possible moment. Her response: she started crying, but not like a hurt wife. No, it was more like a bitchy, manipulative cry, like she was trying to guilt-trip me into feeling sorry for her. She kept saying how stressed she was, how she didn't mean to hurt me, how it was just sex and that I was overreacting. That's when I realized she didn't even care about what she'd done. To her, it was just another excuse to be a bitch and dodge responsibility. The emotional crash was brutal. It's like I went from feeling numb to feeling everything all at once: anger, betrayal, heartbreak, disgust. I had trusted her, loved her, and she'd been lying right in my face, playing me for a fool. Every word she said just made me more furious. How could she lie so convincingly? How could she look me in the eye and deny everything when I had proof? It's like she thrived on being manipulative, on hurting people and getting away with it. Honestly, I didn't sleep much after that. I kept thinking about all the moments she'd been dishonest, every sneaky glance, every lie about where she was, the secret phone calls. I felt like a complete idiot for not seeing it sooner. But at the same time, I knew I had to be strong. I couldn't turn into some broken shell just because she decided to cheat. I had to decide what was best for me, whether to fight for her, try to work things out, or just cut my losses and walk away. That night I made a promise to myself. No matter how much it hurt, I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore. I was done being the fool. I decided I'd confront her one last time, but this time I'd be prepared. I'd get the truth out of her, and then I'd do whatever it took to get away from her. I knew this wasn't just about catching her in a lie anymore. It was about reclaiming my dignity. The next day, I knew I had to see her again. Not just to confront her, but to get some closure. Or at least that was what I told myself. I reached out asking to meet at a coffee shop close to her place. She agreed, of course, with that same bitchy little smirk, acting like she was in control. I didn't let her see how much I was hurting. I kept a calm, cold look on my face, but inside I was boiling. When she arrived, she looked good, too good, like she knew she had the power now, like she was just waiting for me to come crawling back. I didn't give her the satisfaction. I laid everything out. How I found the texts, the pictures, the way she'd been lying all along. I told her I knew she'd been sleeping with Mark during our wedding week, that I'd seen it all with my own eyes. Her reaction, a snarky laugh, that bitchy smirk again. "Oh, so now you're the detective. Wow, Mike, I didn't realize you were so paranoid. Maybe you're just insecure because I don't give you enough attention." She said it with that dismissive tone, like I was the problem, not her. That's when I snapped. I told her I wasn't going to listen to her bullshit anymore, that I'd had enough of her lies and manipulations. I told her she was a selfish, bitchy woman who didn't care about anyone but herself, that she'd ruined everything good we had over some meaningless sex with Mark, who I now realize was just a pawn in her game. I told her I wanted her out of my life, that I was done being her punching bag. Her face twisted in anger, then she started crying, really crying, except it wasn't the crying of a hurt wife. It was a bitter, manipulative cry, like she was trying to guilt-trip me into feeling sorry for her. She kept saying how stressed she was, how she didn't mean to hurt me, how it was just sex and that I was just insecure. That's when I knew for sure she was a bitch. She didn't regret what she did. She only cared about covering her ass. I told her she could pack her shit and leave. I wasn't going to let her stay another second. She looked at me with that same smirk, that I win look, and said, "Whatever, Mike, you're overreacting. You're just jealous because I'm better than you. Honestly, you're pathetic." Those words cut deeper than I expected. She always had that way of turning everything around, making me feel like I was the crazy one. I felt a mix of rage and heartbreak. How could she be so bitchy, so dismissive after what she'd done? I wanted to break down and cry, but I held it in. I told her she had to leave now and I'd call her a cab. She stormed out, throwing her bag on the floor, and left me standing there, angry, broken, and exhausted. The aftermath was brutal. I felt this enormous emptiness, like I'd lost part of myself. I could eat, couldn't sleep, and I kept replaying everything in my head. The lies, the betrayals, her bitchy smirk as she left. I knew I'd never be able to trust her again. Looking back, I realized she never really loved me. She used me. She cheated with Mark because she thought she could get away with it because she's selfish and manipulative. And Mark, my supposed best man, he was just as much to blame. But I also realized something else. I was better off without her. It hurt like hell, but it was the truth. I'd been a fool to think she was anything more than a bitchy, selfish woman who lied to me every chance she got. I've had to rebuild my trust in myself, and that's a long road. Still, I knew one thing for sure. No matter how much it hurts, I'll move on. Because I deserve better than a wife who cheats during my wedding week and then calls me insecure when I find out. After she left, I stayed in that empty apartment for what felt like an eternity. Honestly, I didn't even bother trying to sleep that night. I just sat on the couch, staring at the wall, replaying everything over and over. The betrayal hit so deep I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach 100 times. How could she do this? How could she lie so effortlessly? And Mark, my best man, what a joke. I trusted him, and he was just another piece of her twisted game. The next few days were a blur. I blocked her number, deleted her from all my social media, and stopped answering her calls. I just couldn't handle her bitchy voice or her lies anymore. I realized I'd been giving her power and I needed to take it back. I started spending time alone, going for long walks, trying to clear my head. Honestly, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'd loved her, believed in us, and now I was left with this hollow feeling that I didn't know how to shake. I also started to think about what I could do to get revenge. I know it sounds petty, but after everything she'd done, I wanted her to feel some pain, some regret. Not because I wanted her to suffer, but because I wanted her to finally see what she lost. She thought she was so bitchy and untouchable, acting like she was better than everyone. But I knew the truth now. She was just a selfish, manipulative woman who'd cheat and lie because she could get away with it. So I started to plot, not necessarily to ruin her life, but to make her realize the damage she'd caused. I wanted her to feel the same sick feeling I'd felt when I found out, that gut-wrenching betrayal. I started digging around, finding out her other little secrets, who else she'd been texting, what other lies she'd spun. It wasn't about revenge exactly. It was about reclaiming some of my dignity. The trust was gone, but maybe I could make her see that her actions have consequences. I also reached out to some friends, people I trusted. I didn't tell them everything, just enough to let them know what happened. They were furious on my behalf, especially when I told them about how she'd been lying and manipulating. I felt a strange sense of relief, like I finally had someone to talk to who understood the depth of my pain. But mostly, I wanted to focus on moving forward, learning from this nightmare. One thing I realized is that I'd wasted so much time thinking she was the one, thinking she was perfect, that she loved me. Turns out she was just a bitchy, selfish woman who used her charm to hide her true nature. No more. I promised myself I'd never let anyone treat me like that again. I was done with her manipulation, her lies, her bitchy attitude. I deserved someone real, someone who wouldn't cheat or lie to me. Looking back, I know I'll never forget what happened. It's burned into my brain, a constant reminder that trust is fragile and that some people are just toxic. But I also know I can survive this. I'm already starting to feel stronger. I've begun to pick up the pieces, rebuild my confidence, and focus on myself. As much as it hurts now, I believe I'll come out of this better, wiser, stronger, and maybe someday happy again. Now, looking back, I realize how much this whole mess has changed me. I used to think trust was everything, that if I loved someone enough, they wouldn't betray me like that. But I've learned the hard way that some people, like Emily, are just manipulative, bitchy, and selfish. They don't care about you, they only care about themselves and their next thrill. I gave her everything, the love, the trust, my loyalty, and she threw it all away for some sex with Mark. I've come to understand that her cheating wasn't just about the sex. It was about her needing control, wanting to feel superior, making me feel like I was crazy for even questioning her. That's what really hurts. The way she lied, the way she dismissed my feelings, the way she treated me like I was nothing. But I've also realized that her attitude, her bitchiness, her manipulations, they're her problem, not mine. I don't have to carry that anymore. What I've learned from this experience is simple. Never ignore the warning signs, trust your instincts, and don't let anyone make you feel small. When I found her texting Mark, that's when I should have trusted my gut, but I didn't want to believe it. I kept making excuses for her bitchy attitude, for her dismissiveness. Now I see that was a mistake. She's not worth the heartbreak, not worth the pain. It's been a brutal lesson, but it's also been a freeing one. I finally see her for what she really is, an entitled, manipulative woman who thought she could get away with anything. And Mark, he's just as guilty in my eyes. I don't need them in my life anymore. I'm better off alone than with someone who treats love like a game or a joke. I'm still healing. It's going to take time. But I'm determined to move forward, to rebuild my life without the poison of her betrayal. I've already started working out, focusing on my career, and reconnecting with friends who genuinely care. I know I'll find happiness again, maybe not right now, but someday. And in the end, I want anyone reading this to know, don't settle for the bullshit. Don't ignore the signs. If someone treats you like Emily treated me, walk away. Because trust me, the pain of betrayal is terrible, but it's also a wake-up call. It forces you to see your worth. I'm done with her and Mark and their bitchy, manipulative games. I'm reclaiming my life and I'm finally learning how to trust myself again.